It's Thanksgiving week in the US this week, and I wonder if it will also be the week that Jerome Powell is giving thanks for getting to keep his job. Or perhaps considering the pressure he's under and this no-win situation he's found himself in, he'd be more thankful if Biden actually announces Brainard as the next head. That decision seems to be imminent and it could come any day now, so keep an eye out for any news to do with that. But really, whether it's Brainard or Powell, it seems to be unlikely that it would actually affect what the Federal Reserve do next, as they'd probably take a similar approach anyway. And in terms of that, at the moment we're seeing signs that the speed of them tightening their monetary policy is likely to increase. The Vice Chair of the Federal Reserve, Richard Clarida, made comments on Friday to suggest that the Fed will be discussing speeding up their tapering at the next meeting. And of course, it's believed that if they speed up their tapering, this would bring forward the timeline for raising rates, which is the part that the markets actually care about. So he said, "I'll be looking closely at the data that we get between now and the December meeting, and it may well be appropriate at that meeting to have a discussion about increasing the pace at which we're reducing our balance sheet." There were also comments from Christopher Wallace, a Fed governor, saying that he preferred a faster taper so that they had more flexibility to raise rates if they needed to. So he said, "The rapid improvement in the labour market and the deteriorating inflation data have pushed me towards favouring a faster pace of tapering and a more rapid removal of accommodation in 2022. So Wednesday's a big day for US data. The one that I'm keeping an eye on is the PCE data, that's personal consumption expenditure, and it shows the changes in household expenditures. But the reason this one's important is because it's supposedly the Fed's preferred measure of inflation. Now, it's expected that PCE will have risen, but at a slower pace than CPI, Consumer Price Index. There's also GDP data coming out on Wednesday, and we recently had an explainer video on GDP in our series where we're covering all the important economic data releases, explaining what they mean, what they do, how they relate to each other, and how they might affect the markets. So if you haven't seen that one yet, click up here to watch that video. Now, at the moment, the market is pricing in an 80% chance of a 3/4 point rise by the end of 2022, and there's an over 50% chance of the first rate rise coming by June next year. Personally though, rather than looking at the US dollar for this one, like I might normally do, I'm much more focused at the moment on US stocks. Now, in terms of US stocks, the index that I always prefer to trade is the Dow. Don't ask me why, it's just what I've always traded, and I'm stuck in my ways with that a little bit. But recently we managed to call the top of the market in a video, and that was that recent bearish move that we've had. But right now we're at a critical point once again, because we're testing the B point of the range that led to that bearish reversal, and it's also a previous high. So if we could move below that, we'd then have the path of resistance above the price, and that could lead to more downside. Otherwise, if we head up from here, I'm interested in looking for short trades from the top. Once again, that same sort of level we were looking at before. That's if the price fails as a type 1 or type 2. Although I'm really focused on the intraday levels instead, as I've explained in previous videos, and I always go through on our live streams with our members. So we have updates on the situation with the ECB and the Bank of England today, including how those relate to opportunities in euro dollar and pound dollar. So check those videos out as well. They may already be out by the time you're watching this. If so, they'll probably be on screen. And hit the like button to support the channel if you found this interesting or helpful. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.